In 1996, a quiet adoption agency just outside Cleveland sat still under a rainy afternoon sky. A white man with silver-streaked hair and calloused hands stepped in, carrying nothing but a folder of worn documents and a heart full of nerves. His name was Henry Lawson, a 58-year-old janitor with no partner, no savings, and no biological children of his own. He hadn't come to adopt a perfect child. He came because at his local church, he overheard that 3 little girls had been waiting years for a home, and no one wanted them. "They're sisters," the director had said with hesitation. "Black, very close in age. Most families want babies, not bonded children, and certainly not all 3. Henry didn't flinch. When he stepped into the dimly lit room and saw them for the first time, everything changed. The eldest girl, Nia, stood defensively in front of the others. Her eyes were sharp, mistrustful. She was 6 years old and had already learned how to detect danger in a man's gaze. The second child, Talia, just 4, sat silently on a bench with her hands clasped tightly, lips sealed. No one had heard her speak in nearly a year. The youngest, Asha, barely 3, whimpered every time someone entered the room. They had endured foster homes, shelters, and failed adoptions. Nia had been beaten. Talia had been locked in closets. Asha had stopped smiling. Henry looked at them and whispered, "No one's leaving anyone behind. If I take one, I take all." Raising them wasn't noble, it was brutal. Henry brought them home to a cramped, 1-bedroom apartment in a rundown building. He gave the girls the bed and took the couch for himself. He worked 3 jobs: school janitor in the morning, parking lot sweeper by night, and dishwasher on weekends. Each girl carried trauma in her own way. Nia, once so fierce, would sob in her sleep. Henry would sit beside her, humming softly until she calmed. She had a natural gift for numbers, but never believed she was smart. Teachers often overlooked her. Talia didn't speak for 8 months. Henry never pressured her. Every night he sat beside her while she drew silently. One evening, after he gave her a second-hand notebook with flowers on the cover, she whispered her first words. "Thank you, Daddy." Henry cried alone in the kitchen. Asha had night terrors. She'd scream for a birth mother she barely remembered. Henry would hold her tiny hand and promise the same thing every night: "I'm not leaving." But trauma wasn't the only hardship. It was also the judgment. Strangers in grocery stores would ask, "Are you babysitting?" Teachers whispered. Social workers conducted extra inspections. Once, a woman in a supermarket muttered, "What's a white man doing with 3 little black girls?" Nia cried all night. Henry never fought back. Instead, he taught them, "The world will ask if you belong. Don't wait for their answer. Give them yours." He scraped together money each fall for school supplies. When shoes didn't fit, he patched them or went barefoot himself. On holidays, they baked cornbread and made paper garlands. He couldn't afford presents, so he gave them journals and his time. He always reminded them, "Education is your way out. I can't give you riches, but I can give you the road." And they took that road. Nia became a math prodigy by age 12. Talia joined the debate team, her voice finally free. Asha wrote essays about her nightmares and won a statewide writing award by 16. Henry never changed. Same old boots, same white shirt, same quiet devotion. One day Talia asked why he'd never remarried. Henry smiled and said, "I already raised the loves of my life." Years passed. The girls graduated high school, then college. Nia earned an engineering scholarship. Talia became a lawyer. Asha studied medicine. Henry, now in his 80s, retired quietly. Same apartment, same shirt, never asked for help. But then, 27 years after signing those papers, everything changed. On an ordinary morning, 3 luxury cars pulled up outside his apartment. 3 women stepped out dressed in elegance and grace, one in a black dress with vibrant beads, one in a sharp black suit. one in a crimson gown. If you've made it this far in the story, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Stories like this one remind us of the unseen heroes among us. Don't miss what's coming next. Henry had just sat on his regular bench outside the park when the engines hummed. He looked up, squinting at the black Tesla, silver Mercedes, and glowing orange Lamborghini SUV. He reached for his glasses and froze. 3 women stepped out, graceful as queens. Nia wore a fitted black dress adorned with a necklace Henry had once saved coins to buy for her school play. Talia, in a tailored suit, was now a leader in child advocacy law. Asha, in a deep red gown, had her medical badge clipped to her purse. "Dad," Asha whispered, eyes filled with tears. Henry shook his head, overwhelmed. "Is it really you?" Talia took his hand and placed a small black pouch in his palm. Inside, a set of car keys. "It's yours, Daddy," Nia said, voice trembling. "The car, the house, everything." Henry's lip quivered. He glanced at the Lamborghini, then at them. "Why?" he whispered. Asha answered softly, "Because you loved us when no one else would. Because you stayed. Because you made us who we are." Society had once labeled them unadoptable, too traumatized, too broken. Henry never believed that. Now on the sidewalk, surrounded by everything he had sown in silence, Henry wept, not for the gifts, but because they remembered. And they did more than remember. They had bought him a home with a garden, wide windows, and no rent, hired him a caregiver, even founded a nonprofit in his name, the Henry Lawson Foundation, dedicated to finding loving homes for children no one else sees. "You never asked for anything," Talia said, "so we gave you everything." Passers-by stopped. One woman across the street cried. Some took photos. That day, Henry wasn't just a father. He became a symbol of what quiet, unconditional love becomes when finally recognized. Later, inside his new home, Henry sat in a soft recliner. Around him, framed photos of graduations, degrees, wedding days. On the mantel, a single photo from the orphanage, 3 little black girls holding each other tight. Beneath it, a plaque read, "To the man who saw queens in orphans, who gave us a name, a future, and love. We were never unwanted. We were always yours." At a small press event the next week, when asked why they had done it, Naya answered, "When the world refused to adopt us, this man chose us. He gave up his youth for our childhoods. He gave up comfort for our healing. We just returned what the world never gave him." Henry, seated beside them, whispered one thing: "I'm proud, not because of the car or the house, but because my girls became who they were born to be, and I got to watch it." In the end, it wasn't about luxury or success. It was about returning love to the one who gave it first, without expecting it back. And the man they once said was too poor to be a father, he turned out to be the richest father alive.